So a few months ago, I reached out to FlashForge and told them about some of my upcoming 3D printer projects. They were nice enough to send me their latest printer, the Adventurer 3 Lite, and here I am unboxing it. I want to share with you how this thing works. It is super cool. You can see how nicely it's packaged. I'm going to move it from the box onto the table and get it set up. Pretty good size 3D printer, as you can see. Looks pretty good. Got to take off all of this tape, clean it up, power it on, and start some printing. You can see, got a nice little LCD screen here. Got a USB port right here. And then this door is actually pretty nice. It's nice and enclosed inside of here. The build plate is a fraction of the size of what I'm used to with the A8, but it's all enclosed, so I feel like printing ABS should be no problem. You can see it's got a really cool nozzle assembly. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing set up. Power switch, which is also a nice little standard feature on most electronic devices, except for most 3D printer kits. So far so good. I'm going to get this thing preheating and hopefully start to print something. I can't believe how this is looking right now. Without any sort of bed treatment or anything. First little bit is like their little test. I guess the nozzle might have been filled with some PLA just to like help you guide the new one through, but I like can't even believe this. Like it was literally 10-minute setup for a 3D printer. And you can hear it, this is as loud as it goes. Got about 8 minutes or so left on this print. So I'm gonna speed it up. We can watch it finish. Look at that cube. Actually looks very good. For 0 setup, all I did was turn the printer on and select a file, dude. Look at that. Build completed. Looks like a success to me. Let's open her up. That's the little cube. First layer wasn't as good because the filament didn't come all the way out until partially through this layer. So I suspect now that the filament is fully threaded through to the nozzle, this should be no problem. But dude, look at these layers. Very impressed with this. Very impressed with the bed adhesion. I didn't treat the surface at all. This is one of their sheets. It might be pre-treated. But yeah, that's first print, calibration with the FlashForge Adventurer 3 Lite. We've got to get this thing set up with internet. It's got Wi-Fi printing. And I'm going to send over some like functional pieces now that I've got the calibration cube done. So one of the coolest things about having a 3D printer is being able to go out and find really cool 3D models and files to print. This is an article I wrote a few weeks ago about how to find 3D printer models, CAD files, STLs, and things that you can 3D print using online resources. You can check it out. Today we're going to be using the STL Finder search engine, which is an online tool, kind of like Google, that allows you to search for 3D models and 3D printer files. Today I'm going to be making this part. It's the MacBook Pro MagSafe 1 damaged cable repair set. And basically what it does is it's a little sleeve that goes over the MacBook Pro charger. And what we're going to do is we're going to print this out. So once you find a file you like, you can just click on download model from website. And I've got it loaded here from Thingiverse. And what I've done is I've downloaded a copy from the website. Basically, it just gives you some print settings, 0.2 to 0.3 mil, 0 infill. We'll use these print settings later. Sometimes people provide these and sometimes people don't, so you kind of have to play around with it. There's 6 different options for thing files. Probably just going to choose this top one right here. Download a copy of that to my computer. You can see I've got it here. And if this is your first time using a FlashForge printer and it works with the FlashPrint software, you'll need to download that. So you can go to FlashForge's Download Center, go under Software Download, and choose the correct version of FlashPrint for your operating system. So once you have the file that you want to print, just open up FlashPrint. This is what it looks like. All you need to do is either drag and drop your file in, and then I just place it on the platform like that. Take a look at it, looks pretty good. This is a simple file. It shouldn't take too much time to print. I'm going to use the standard settings. Right out of the box, you're going to need to set up your printer, and mine's already been recognized, FlashForge Adventurer 3 Lite. I'm going to be using PLA. I'm going to disable supports and rafts. Run it on low. Layer height looks good. Shells look fine. Infill, I'm going to change that to 0. That's what the Thingiverse page recommends. Not sure how good that's going to turn out, but we'll try it. And I'm just going to hit OK. And I'm just going to change the name to Mac Cable Tie and save. And this will give you a estimated print time, 14 minutes, and how much material. And then a weight estimation is good if you're trying to figure out how much the part is going to cost you to print. So it's based on the material that you're using. So PLA, how much filament is required to print the part. The estimated weight is around 2 grams. So I'm going to say this will be around 15 cents to print, which is pretty cheap. You can also play around by seeing the path that the tooltip is going to take. So the extruder nozzle will build it up layer by layer. And if this looks good to you, then you can go ahead and send the G-code over. Mine's already connected to the network, but if you go under About and look for your IP address, it's on the second menu. Just make sure those match and you're on the same network and hit connect. The machine will connect to FlashPrint and you should be able to send the code over. It streams it over. So if you go into the actual LCD, you've got the name of the project that we're printing in a CAD model of it. It tells you the nozzle temperature and the bed temperature. You hit these 3 little dots, you've got a filament exchange, a light bulb, and then an information. So if you click this little light bulb, you get a nice little LED that'll shine onto the part. So that's pretty cool. And then the info button will show you kind of where we're at temperature-wise. You can see that it's running a preheat cycle and we're connected to Wi-Fi and the nozzle is hot, so be careful. One thing that I did want to point out is while there is a door and this is fully enclosed, it isn't a safety switch door. So if you do open this door while it's in the middle of a cycle or whatever, it's not going to stop the print. It's not going to throw an error or do a pause or anything like that. This is purely just to keep the printer enclosed. Another cool thing is we've got the bed down here, and that's removable, which I'll show you after this thing prints. So you can kind of see. And typically what I like to do is just make sure the first few layers look good and there's good bed adhesion. If there isn't, I'll either wipe it down with some alcohol or I'll restart the print. Looks like it's doing a pretty good job. And what we can do is take a look. We've got 14 minutes remaining on this print. So we'll go ahead and let this guy do its thing. We'll take a look at what it looks like when it's done. The printer itself is pretty quiet. The flash print utility is still connected to my machine, so I have noticed sometimes if I let my computer go to sleep, it'll lose connection to the Adventurer 3 Lite, but that's not necessarily a big deal. The cool thing is there are a couple of cloud utilities that you can use with this printer. One of them is called the Flash Cloud, and I'll show you how to enable that. It's a pretty simple process. You just sign up with your email, give a password, and then log in. And you can see your printers, and this is a cloud utility, and you can see that I've added my printer in here, and this is like really freaking cool, I think, because once you open up your printer, you can access this from any browser, including a phone, and you can kind of see what's going on. So I've got 10 minutes remaining on this print. The one thing that the Adventurer 3 Lite doesn't have is a built-in camera. So if you have an Adventurer 3 base model, you will see camera feed here. I don't have a camera built in, and it's not going to load the camera because there isn't one. This is still a really cool utility. The process for adding a printer is pretty easy. All you have to do is click the Add Printer button, give it a name, and then find the registration code that is inside the menu on your printer, and that's about it. You can see I've added the video of the printer working over this video now, just so that you can get a feel for how we're doing in real-time status. Here's the bed adhesion test, and I feel like I'm at Dairy Queen right now, but good bed adhesion. I didn't treat this at all. This is just that Build Tech style material. So now we're just gonna break the piece off, which was easy. So just kind of clean that up. What I'll typically do after 5 or 10 prints or so is I'll wipe this down with some isopropyl alcohol, and then I'll just put it back on here just to get my fingerprints. I notice fingerprints can mess up this building surface. So if you've got oils touching that, it kind of messes with the bed adhesion. So that's that. We've got our part here, and for 0% infill, I'm actually pretty impressed with this. You can kind of see the quality of the part. Looks pretty good to me. One of my favorite parts to print is the phone stand because it's super minimal. It takes about 20 minutes to print. And you can see this was probably the second or third thing I've printed. You can see I had a little bit of a bend in the print. The quality of this is just awesome. For the price point and for the very minimal setup that you have to do, I highly recommend it. So if you're looking for a 3D printer to add to your studio, your workshop, or your classroom, the FlashForge Adventurer 3 Lite is an awesome deal. Even though it has a small print bed and you can't use full-size spools, it's overcome by wireless printing, online utilities, the ease of use. I literally took it out of the box and had it printing within a matter of 10 minutes. You don't even need to know anything about 3D printing. The slicer is very easy to use, and you can run standard PLA and ABS, which is perfect for somebody that just wants to upload a file and start printing right away. If you're interested in getting an Adventurer 3 Lite, you can find it on Amazon, as well as FlashForge's website, where you can find the full comprehensive catalog of all of their 3D printers. Thanks again to FlashForge for sending over the Adventurer 3 Lite. We're going to be using it in some upcoming robotics projects, so if you're interested in that, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming tutorials. I'm Liz from Learn Robotics. Find me on the Learn Robotics blog, and I'll see you next time.